So our learning target is I can determine unit rates and proportionality using tables and graphs. So you're going to watch this very short video. It's under 2 minutes. And you're going to write why you think rates are usually written as unit rates and use examples. Watch the proportion video. Try to explain what a proportion is using as much math vocabulary as you can. Watch the unit rate graph video, and you are going to describe how it shows a unit rate. This graph right here, keep in mind that unit rate is something that's happening to X to get over to Y. So we do have a relationship as X increases, something is happening to Y. But what is multiplied by X to get to Y? That would be the unit rate. Whatever is happening to X to get to Y is going to be your unit rate. So for 1 second, if you had 1 second, that would bring you your unit rate. What could 1 be multiplied by to get to Y? And the answer is 2/3. If you multiply 3 times 2/3, you will get 2. If you multiply 6 times 2/3, you will get 4. If you multiply 9 times 2/3, you will get 6. So 2/3 is your unit rate. And remember that whenever you see a number right next to X, it is, in algebra, we know that a number right next to a letter means that you are going to multiply them. 2n, for example, is great. 2 times n, it's still okay. This one does 2 parentheses n, that does mean to multiply, but it feels like that's a little too much. And times 2 using the dot, sometimes we use the dot for a multiplication symbol. That does seem a little strange, especially since in algebra we put the number in front and the variable behind. So there's the number in front again, there's the number. And this X in algebra, that could mean the letter X. It could represent a variable, so that would not work. So for 1 second, if you had 1 in this column, for 1 second for X, you would multiply the 1 times 2/3 to get to Y. So then we get into an activity where you are choosing between different job offers. You are going to show your work, fill out the table, and then you are going to graph and choose an equation. Examples of equations are listed here, so that will help you. But right here, you are going to graph it and you are going to write the equation. An example of one of them looks like this. If you were a waiter or waitress earning $2.35 per hour plus $60 in tips, so you will always add the $60 in tips to your earnings. So the $60 needs to be in the equation. But what is happening to X to get to Y? X is the hours, so you know that your hourly rate is $2.35. So for every hour you work, you can multiply it times $2.35. So what is 6 times $2.35? You would add the 60 every time you do the calculation. You would multiply 6 times $2.35 plus the 60. Same thing for 12, 18, and 24. At the end of the activity, it's going to ask you to analyze which job offer is the better offer. But then on here, which relationship is proportional and which relationships are non-proportional. Basically, it's proportional if it passes through 0 and it has a straight line. So this one has a straight line. but it does not pass through the origin 0, 0. So this one is non-proportional. So analyze each graph. Each graph should have a straight line because each graph has a constant rate of change, but not all the graphs pass through 0, 0. So not all of them will be proportional.